Welcome to the InfoGov Hot Seat Vodcast, featuring candid interviews with practitioners, consultants, and solution providers on hot topics in the information governance industry. Here's your host, Jim Merrifield.
Well, hello and welcome to the InfoGov Hot Seat. I'm your host, Jim Merrifield, and with me today is Cindy Chmura. Welcome, Cindy.
Hi, Jim. How are you today?
I'm great, and I'm even better that I get to interview you on the Hot Seat this episode. I know we have lots to talk about, so let's get to know you a little better. Would you like to kick us off and provide a brief introduction of yourself, your current role, and one fun fact about yourself?
Certainly. Thank you for having me here. My name is Cindy Chmura. I am the Vice Chair of the ARMA International Board of Directors. I'm also an advisor on the ARMA International Educational Foundation Board of Trustees, and also the board liaison for the Chapter Advisory Committee, which is the committee that provides guidance and support to our chapters. I joined ARMA back in 1996, so that's 18 years ago. And like many members, was appointed or voluntold to a local board position at the first meeting I attended. I initially joined the ARMA Detroit chapter and am now a member of the statewide ARMA Michigan chapter after the 3 Michigan chapters merged last year. So I want to give a nice shout out to my fellow ARMA Michiganders. And in addition, since you got me, Jim, during Rivalry Week in the state of Michigan and being a Michigan State alum, go green.
Awesome.
My fun fact is I grew up in the Chicago suburb of Schaumburg, Illinois, and I was a baton twirler. And so I am a past state of Illinois baton champion and also a former Miss Majorette of Illinois pageant winner. So feel free to hit me up if you're seeking any assistance with your window washing or interviewing skills. I'm happy to help.
That's great. See, you learned, I'm telling you, this question, fun fact, you learned some wild things about the people that are interviewed on this podcast. That's great. Maybe we can integrate that into the next conference. Who knows?
Maybe I can be the talent part of the keynote. You never know what's going to happen.
No, absolutely. I wish I had this conversation like a couple weeks ago. Awesome. So great, Cindy. Thanks so much. So now we're fresh off of InfoCon 2024. We've gotten plenty of sleep. I think we're well rested. After being in Houston. It was a great event. But what were your key takeaways from the event?
Sure. The events, the key takeaways that I have is like logistically, for starters, I love the proximity of the hotel to the convention center, which was perfect for attendees like me who like to be a 5-minute walk from my hotel room and the conference itself. And while that doesn't help with my daily step count, as each day of conference progresses and I'm up a little bit later each night, I welcome any opportunity for an additional 15, 20 minutes of sleep. And of course, the location of the VRC welcome party being right across the street as well this year from the host hotel in the convention center was extremely convenient. I realize also that, there can be some false illusions from an attendance perspective based on the venues we have and the rooms people are sitting in. But I am here to report out that our registration does continue to increase. In fact, I understand it's actually gone up 20% from last year, which is wonderful to see us trending upwards to our pre-pandemic numbers. Let's see, I also attended, what else I do? The pre-conference sessions, right? So as the board liaison for the Chapter Advisory Committee, I got to sit in on the volunteer leadership training. And I was excited at the energy and the passion in our leaders who volunteer their time and talents to serve our association. I got to hear a lot of sharing of both chapter wins and challenges, and there was just a really engaging group of leaders in attendance this year. So again, I really appreciate them taking the extra day out of their schedule to attend, and hopefully they got out of this as much as they put into it. I obviously couldn't attend all the industry groups, being with this tight schedules and trying to be in many places at one time. But from what I observed, they were all very well attended. And depending on what industry you're in and the schedule of events, those of us who span across more than one industry, we were able to participate in 2 sessions this year, which was really helpful for me being, part of both legal and IT. I got to participate in both instead of just one. A surprise for me, I have to say, was I was taken back by the attendance at this year's first-time attendee orientation, which both you and Nate spoke at. I mean, it was a standing room only event, which was awesome to see so many of these first-timers, and I hope to see them at our future conferences. In fact, I even ran across a first-time attendee from the state of Michigan. He's actually from my own ARMA Michigan chapter. And he stood out like a sore thumb in Texas. He was rocking the Detroit Lions Honolulu Blue when we were all representing our favorite sports team, which is not a common sighting outside of the state of Michigan, I will say. So I approached him, and sure enough, he's a new member of the ARMA Michigan chapter. And so now, we both made new friends. We've added to each other's network. And it's kind of comical to have to travel so far to meet somebody you live so close to. But that's just the remote and hybrid world we live in these days. So it was great to find somebody from back home and meet with them. But for me personally, Jim, there was a different vibe at this year's InfoCon as a whole, as I viewed it from a different angle, not only being an executive on the board of directors, but I'm also somebody looking for a new business opportunity. So in the past, I would participate in networking events and I would help people connect with each other. I would help bridge gaps and even help people find jobs at my former employer. But this year, suddenly I was the one who was in need of assistance. And the ARMA community, I dare call ARMA family like many do, couldn't have been more supportive to the cause. And I really got to appreciate the networking opportunities differently. And I returned back to Detroit last Thursday feeling extremely grateful and just really excited for what might lie next for my own personal chapter. So again, it was really nice to see the many angles of networking and the value that it adds. But a very close second and equally exciting was sharing the stage with you and being able to announce this year's awards at the closing ceremony. Seeing so many longstanding and some new ARMA friends receiving the awards. And from where I was standing, catching a glimpse of their smiles as they walked up the stairs behind me to accept the award from you, just sharing in the pride they felt was just infectious. There was such a great vibe in the room when these, hard-earned and well-deserved awards went out. A few of them have since reached out and said it meant a lot to have me announce their name, which really warms my heart and again, really illustrates the connections and the community feeling that we have at ARMA, whether it's a local chapter, working on a committee with somebody, being part of a panel with them, or just meeting them once or twice or 3 times a year at our conferences. We really do have a positive impact on each other.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it was great to share the stage with you, Cindy, and all the awards that we were able to give out to our members that have worked so hard over the years and this past year. And you mentioned the first time attendee reception. I mean, that was a packed house, standing room only, like you mentioned, and a lot of first timers, a lot of young faces, maybe newbies in our industry. So that's really exciting. We'll see where that takes us. So there's a lot to be excited about from InfoCon 2024, and definitely appreciate your takeaways. I know we could talk for hours about these takeaways, and so let's look ahead to 2025. What are you most excited about? I know there's lots to be excited about, but what are you most excited?
Yeah, there is a lot to be excited about with the association, and depending on who you ask, from a board position, a committee position, as a person, me, myself, what am I looking forward to is, a new year is bringing a new database to help the ARMA staff and the chapter leaders be successful in their roles. There's a new website, which everyone will benefit from, and new logos. And, people are questioning, why a new logo? Why now? What's going on? What is the importance? And, I don't know if everybody knows this, but if you Google ARMA, there are quite a few ARMA organizations that exist. And with no disrespect towards any of the other ARMAs out there, it would really be unfortunate for people trying to locate our association and confuse us with each other. So this is where the importance of the brand recognition and the standardization helps us become one association and one community, if you will. We want to make sure our members see us for who we are And don't confuse us with the Asphalt Roofing Manufacturers Association. I think another one I saw was the Army Maintenance Application, which thank you for your service, but that's not what we do. So I look forward to, the new ARMA website, new ARMA look, as everybody rolls out their logos, which, if I remember correctly, will all be in place by February 2025. And I also think our continued involvement with the AIEF in regards to promoting the professional development and higher education, as well as being able to offer scholarships for our members, is going to be another exciting area that continues to evolve. And coming off a conference, I would be remiss to not be looking ahead to our next conferences, of which we have 3. We got 3 great conferences, beginning with Info Next in Savannah, Georgia in April. The following month, we've got ARMA Canada in Montreal, Quebec in May. And then Infocon is going to be in Phoenix next October. And I believe Danny from VRC on a recent episode just shared that VRC has been waiting for an opportunity for a specific themed welcome party in that part of the U.S. So we have a lot to look forward to in 2025 from the industry-wise, from a conference perspective. And really, our future is bright. And I just continue to be so appreciative of and in awe of all the volunteer time and talents we have contributing to our ARMA success.
Yeah, 100%. I couldn't have said it any better. I mean, we have a lot to look forward to. Branding is certainly something that's very important. And you're right. Danny is really pumped up about that party in Phoenix. He certainly whet our appetites, I think, on his it was episode 50, the last podcast, about what that's going to entail. He wouldn't give me any hints, but we'll see if we can prize some of the hints out from Danny over the course of early 2025.
Well, Danny and Dorothy always set the bar very high with their welcome parties. They're very well received, and everybody looks forward to them. So, yeah, with the teaser he dropped, I mean, minds are just going a mile a minute trying to see how they're going to top themselves in Arizona.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And again, I mean, listen, Cindy, right? It's great being on the board with you, and we have a lot of work to do, but we do all have fun as well, right? We're all part of a great industry, and we get to collaborate with each other and learn from each other, and that's what our networking and relationships in our industry and ARMA is all about. So, thanks for sharing your insights into 2025. So I know we've talked about a lot here. We could continue to talk for like hours, like I mentioned, but is there anything else you'd like to share with the audience before I let you go?
That's pretty much it. I mean, like I said, I'm just really grateful for everybody's continued support of the association. And we've had a lot more volunteer opportunities open up with committees throughout the past couple of years, and a lot of takers for people to serve on these committees to get more involved. And, like any good organization, you get out of it what you put into it. And so it's really nice that everybody has such a good positive outlook on the association and wants to be involved. So again, just thank you to everybody out there for continuing to renew their membership, recruit new members, get involved, and just thank you.
Yeah, for sure. And we're growing. We got lots to do. So if you'd like to be a guest on the InfoGov Hot Seat, like Cindy here, all you got to do is submit your information through our website, InfoGovHotSeat.com. This is the first of several episodes, takeaways from InfoCon 2024. So stay tuned with that. You'll have some episodes with maybe some business partners, some speakers, maybe even some board members as well. So we're going to continue the conversation, so to speak, from Houston. And again, I just want to thank everyone for listening to the episode today, and also to Cindy as well for taking the time out of her busy day to share her insights and takeaways with our community.
Thank you for having me. Take care.
You got it. Take care, Cindy.
Thank you for listening to another episode of the InfoGov Hot Seat. Follow us on Spotify, YouTube, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and LinkedIn. Check out our main website at InfoGovHotSeat.com to view our latest episodes and much more.